One of the things that I believe I saw on it, correct me if I'm wrong, it does include other light, I believe red and infrared, right? What are
Yes.
the actions of that on the blood? I understand red light therapy. I understand even some of the actions of the red laser therapy if you do IV laser therapy on that. Uh, what is that benefit? Do you use that? Is it like always an on thing for you, the red and infrared? I know it's a button you could turn it on and off on the EBOO, but t-
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
your
So I'll just
experience?
say it. We use the SOP med
Yeah,
machine.
it's the same one. I believe we
Um,
were connected through them. Yeah.
yeah. And they're actually who sponsored those studies, which is super cool
Yep.
to get that data because we're in working with them. We didn't know what we were going to find, right?
Yeah.
We hope the results are what they were, but we didn't know.
Hmm.
And I was blinded to those results too, so I tried to take out some of the bias, right?
Hmm.
Um, but their system actually includes UVC. So it's actually on a so UVC, UVB, and UVA. They're all invisible light, and then we get into the visible light, the all the way from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, violet, right? And then we get into the red. Or sorry, red is at this end of the spectrum, and then we get into the infrared
Yes.
over here, which is also invisible to us, and it includes that whole gamut there, that button of theirs. And you know, i'm not a light uh I'm not a light specialist,
Yeah.
but I've definitely put together presentations, and each frequency of light has a different purpose in the body. And there is also a lot of overlap, so it's like
Yes.
there's so many different frequencies that affect the mitochondria, which I mentioned earlier.
Hmm.
um, Other frequencies affect more of an immune system response.
Right.
But ultimately, it's all about our bringing the different enzymes into balance,
Hmm.
balancing the force, bringing it into homeostasis. And it just, it makes sense. Like I like to sometimes take a step back and just where was our technology, 200 years ago or 1,000 years ago, right? How did humans develop in nature? Like whether whatever your belief system is, it's like 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, what did a healthy human look like? Even 100 years ago, what did a healthy human look like? And it's being outside, right? We talked
Hmm.
about before we press record, we talked about movement. That's one of the pieces, of course, but being outside in light, having the sun on our skin is paramount to health.
Yes.
And that goes whether your ancestors were more near the equator, obviously you're going to get more sunlight. But even those who are far north or south of the equator, even through fog, there's still all of these light wavelengths, and they go through our skin and hit those mitochondria, and they have profound effects. It's not, most people know that sunlight helps produce vitamin D. That's one of like a bazillion different
Right.
reactions that it causes. Um, you cannot have health without light.
Hmm.
That's like one of those. I try not to do too many categorical statements in life because usually the truth is somewhere in between, right?
Right.
But that is a categorical statement. You cannot have health without light. And nowadays, too many of us are, myself included. I'm sitting in, I don't get sunlight.
Hmm.
I might have some light bulbs on, but those are only emitting a very narrow
Yep.
range of light frequencies versus the sun has that whole range that I talked about, right? That whole range. And every one of those frequencies is like a different little medicine, a
Yeah.
different little natural medicine that gets into our body and charges our body up.
Yeah.
So that was a long-winded answer,
Oh
but
no, that was the perfect answer because I find so many of the therapies you see out there are simply emulating a small piece of what the sun does for us. And
yeah.
it applies it to different areas, such as this one will apply red light, infrared, UV light within the bloodstream itself, which is a photobiomodulation and then cascade of biochemical events that happen, as you mentioned, many of those. And that's what we're doing there. In others, you may shine some type of different light on the skin in different wavelengths, frequencies, all these things for a reaction to happen, a healing reaction. but it's all really just the sun. Oh, it's a piece of what we've
Exactly.
been doing for millennia, and it has
Yeah.
been healing our planet.
Yeah.
So we need to not, suddenly think that these devices are replacing what is most important, which is our lifestyle, getting outside, breathing clean air, detoxifying that way, moving. As we said before, also, we jumped on, you did some push ups before this. I said,
Yeah.
I've been sitting in this chair for way too long. I need to move. I need to move the lymphatics, all of that. That's still, I think, the greatest healer of ours is not just within ourselves, but in our environment. The good thing is, if you're in a position where possibly you can't do much or you're already in disease state, things like EBOO exist to serve as catalyst and provide something that sunlight and other natural things, even such as ozone, can do in a more rapid catalyst way.